Bitcoin and Ethereum, what's his next move? Let's find out in the charts here, shall we? Wow, Bitcoin, man, it's come back down at us. And we're going to talk about why I think this is the bottom and why you should be buying here and more in today's episode. Yes, wow. You know what? I was just talking with my private subscribers, telling them, hey, you should be not buying up here. And I'm going to tell you more about that. And boom, during the show, as I was preparing for the show, where they should be buying actually came in, wow, just like that, as a beautiful scam wick. So we're going to talk about that, and then we're going to talk about, some news that you can use as well later on in the show, right? It's going to be a fantastic show. Sorry I missed yesterday, but I'm here today. So we're going to have a lot of fun. Yes, we always do. We always do here. So make sure you hit the like, you hit the subscribe, you hit that bell button and all, right? Thank you very much. Make sure you share these videos with your friends as well. I would really appreciate that. Okay, so let's get on with this show right now. Okay, so, well, Bitcoin, whether it's a short-term buy, and Ethereum Are A Buy, which that's what the title is, or it's a long-term buy. Right now, it is a long-term and short-term buy. That's for sure. Now, there's no guarantees on the short term, but on the long term, you should be buying here, and you should not worry about lower prices. Yes, it's possible, but if you're buying for a long term, this is where you should be buying, right about here, right? You are buying the lows, not the highs. Okay. So Bitcoin, right, is coming down off of a massive slope here. You can see it's sloping down heavy, right? And it finally broke, and so everybody just jumped in on the trade, and yes, they got slaughtered, right? Bulls make money, bears make money, pigs, well, they get slaughtered. So this was a slaughterhouse right here, right, where all the bulls just went yeah, and boom, just wiped them out. Now, if we go down to a lower time frame, right, let's take a look at this. This is an absolute kill zone. And so what I would have done, what I was telling my subscribers, hey, I was going to wait for the show because I didn't think it was going to happen that fast, is the Hail Mary. Yeah, so as you can see, the Hail Mary was like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Yeah, and there's no guarantees for the Hail Mary, but you can see right here, oops, I need to get that out of the way. There's the Hail Mary right there at the 78.6. And let me just put the where your risk to reward ratios, it's only 1% risk, right? Approximately. So you trade to that lower point. So it's just a 1% risk that you're taking. Yeah, you take this right up to back to the 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio, right? And it's kind of scary, right? Because it's like, okay, I don't like the Hail Mary on the hourlies, honestly, right? They don't always work out. So, and you can see that this is like a big mess here. This big dump candle, right? So what I like to do this is how I normally trade it, but on a shorter time frame, right? On a shorter time frame. So what I'd look for, right, is to see this thing on a even shorter time frame, because we're moving too fast here, right? See if there's any kind of turnaround point. We're looking for a turnaround point on the 5 minutes. So we're gonna probably break this low, probably. No guarantees, right? And so the best choice, right, because it's the hourly and we're moving way too fast, right? The best choice is to take the buy from just below that just below that last wick, right? That's the best choice at this point in time. You can still do the Hail Mary, just use very low amounts of like, for example, like instead of losing just 1% of your portfolio, like let's just say maximum you're gonna lose is 5%. Instead of losing 5% of your portfolio, you take like 1% of your portfolio, right? Because this is like a low probability chance that this is work out, because most of the time I find that the Hail Mary gets slaughtered on Bitcoin on the hourly. It works mostly on the 5-minute time frame. That's the best point to use the Hail Mary. All right, so if you take a 2% or even a 1% risk is probably good enough, because we have support down there, decent support actually. So you can go to 1%, right at that support line here, and then you take it to 2 to 1. That would probably be the best case scenario. Now, no guarantees that you're going to get entry here. No guarantees. The price is going to come down to the 19. What is it? The entry point is $19,200 almost, right? To $189. No guarantees you'll get entry. Sometimes it just goes, you know. And you know, the 78.6 Hail Mary works, right? It's not 100%. Just saying that. I hate using it on the hourly, because there's times where you're like, oh my God, and then it finally goes, and then it just wicks you out and then goes. Then goes. So yeah, that's why I'm like thinking, hey, the best case is here, the wick, entry at the wick, where people get wicked out at that last move, right? And you know, yeah, it looks like the market wants to come for those longs. So let's do that right now. Let's just open it up, since you know I've got this open here, and then I'm just gonna add my stop loss. Stop loss is approximately 1.8. Did we already break through that? No. Okay. Oh, is this the right perpetual swap contracts 5 minutes? Well, we already broke through it. Wow. There it is. We already broke through it. So we could just walk from the trade right now. That's the best thing to do, right? And once it breaks, just walk from the trade, right? Just like a few $100s, right? Market, confirm. That's it. You don't take unnecessary risks, right? And you just when the trade doesn't work out, you walk away, right? That's it. You do not go, oh my God, I'll just hold that open and pray, right? That's the worst thing you can do. Absolute worst thing you can do, right? When trading, is holding a trade open, saying, oh yeah, it didn't work now, but it's gonna work later. You will actually get slaughtered. A lot of people do that, right? When they're new to trading. It's not the way you should do it. Okay. So we're gonna wait for this thing to slow down, because right now it's just gone. It's moving really fast. Let's see here. Let's go to the hourly. Let's see, it's already broken through one support level, and man, it is moving at a terrible speed. What a nightmare for Bitcoin, right? So that's why you don't want to be in that and you can't take a short here. It's too late. The short was way up here, right? When it started to break down on the 5 minute here. You see, once it started to break down immediately, that's a failed move, because fast move opposite direction is too late, too slow, too fast to move into a short. So we're gonna see that in a little bit. Now, remember what I said, right? This is Bitcoin's a buy, and yet everything's still going everything's going down, a disaster. But because we've moved too far, too fast, it's going to stop, right? And you don't want to stop. You don't want to buy, like, even here, let me just take a look at this. Look, we're way outside the Bollinger Bands, right? That's a key indication that this can't continue on the 5 minute, right? So it doesn't mean that we are not going to go lower. It just means that it can't be right now, right? And so we are moving too much outside. We're outside the Bollinger Band out of 1, 2, 3 candles, and this is like a full candle that's outside the band. There's odds of that is that we go higher as most likely. So we're going to probably go up. What you want to do is because again, what I said, I like the Hail Mary on the 5 minute. We want to wait for this to slow down and then go like something like this and then come back down, Hail Mary, and then off we go, right? Not the first down, actually. We want to go, oof, right? Maybe come back again and then go. That's what I'm looking for. Sometimes I go for the first down because you know what? I'm willing to take a risk, right? Because that's a risk play, right? You're like, okay, well, you know what? This thing might be done, so I'm going to take that risk and do the Hail Mary from down here and then see what happens. Maybe I only take profits halfway if it starts to roll over, and then I try again. Yeah, so that's how you trade this. Alrighty, enough with that. Let's take a look at what the Rockin Brainer is saying for Bitcoin and Ethereum, whether or not it was a buy. We do have a buy signal on the Rockin Brainer that was early here, a little bit early, and it was really scary here. As you can see, this was a little bit of a trap because now it's converted to sell signal. And yeah, it doesn't look so good because we're still below the 13 EMA. But I think that this thing has turned around. Now we can see it is going to turn around. I really think it's going to turn around eventually. I think it'll just be a little bit of a sideways thing. This is just like to wipe out anybody who is thinking that they're going to go long here. All right, so let's go over to Ethereum. Ethereum looks pretty much the same. It looked like a ready to buy, but not just yet kind of buy. And oof, let's see here. And yeah, we're like breaking higher, and nope. We're going to wipe everybody out a little bit. And yes, this thing is slightly oversold. And perfectly, if we stop here on the 4 hour, we're going to create what's called a divergence, especially if this starts coming back up a little bit more and then might dip down below this wick and then come back up. We get a divergence, and boom, you have a chance to actually make a trade, especially on the 4 hours, because it'll give you lots of time to plan this trade. So looking forward to seeing this play out. I'm going to let this thing play out so we can get a better trade, because take a look at this. Take a look at what we've got here. We've got a perfect setup for framing a bottom here. You can see, right, lots of W's that could come in here that also exist in Bitcoin, right, but more cleaner here in Ethereum. If we could just hold this bottom, boom, we can see this thing W out and head higher. Not a whole lot higher, but breaking above the 2,500. I'm sorry, not 2,500. $1,500 mark would be nice. Just below the 1,700 would be the target for Ethereum. If we were to break above the 12,000 or $1,300 mark, basically. So that's where the target would be for Ethereum. Okay. Bitcoin's dominance, right? It's just going sideways right now. Nothing much to report, right? We can see the crypto bubbles. There's just like some odd, crazy coins that are like doing well. But other than that, nothing major. Okay, let's head over to what's going on in the news, right? Stockhead, here's how a doom loop has Arthur Hayes claiming 1 million Bitcoin can happen. Yes, I agree with what he's saying. The way things are structured, right? The dollars and euros are going to collapse because they're not raising interest rates fast enough because they need to have interest rates above actual inflation for it to make any kind of difference against inflation. And I don't see them having the balls to do that. I really don't, because that will collapse everything rapidly. All your assets, your housing, your stock markets, everything will be collapsed to nothing. You're like, well, that's okay. You understand that the banks are intertwined and they will collapse as well because you won't be able to pay your debts. And if you're not able to pay your debts, then the banks go under. And if the banks go under and they get a bailout, right, then things are bad. But they're probably going to do a bail-in, but that's not going to be enough. So they're probably just going to bail them in and also print money. And yeah, and that's too bad for you. You don't have access to the printing press. So what the heck are you doing in a bank? Right? So that's, and you could cry all you want to foul that they wiped you out. Well, it's not like you're going to be able to do anything to them. Just keep that in mind, okay? Because they have all the money and you don't. All right. As we know, right, the US dollar and the euro are now equal. You've lost, if you're in the euro, you've lost 20% of your wealth. Gold's up 20%, silver's up 20%, right? All of it that you buy, gas, everything from last year. Only things that you don't need are not up 20%. The European currency has now reached parity with the US dollar for the first time since 2003, triggered by the Ukraine-Russian conflict, skyrocketing global inflation, and central bank interest rate hikes. Yes, with the US interest rates hiking, of course, this is like, all the currencies are basically like people who jumped out of an airplane without a parachute, right? Once they just depegged from gold. And the only trajectory, the only end result is hitting the ground and then being dead, right? That's the end result. Now, every once in a while, you can flail out like this, and then you can, stop your descent, or you can dive down and increase your descent, right? So the euro increased the descent whilst the dollar expanded out a little bit, right? And so that's what's happened. so that's all that's happening, right? Hayes' doom loop scenario sees the euro and the dollar both depreciating in favor of hard savings commodities, such as gold and Bitcoin, which central banks resorting to a yield curve control amid out of control inflation. Once the inflation genie gets out of the bottle, the real inflation, like when I'm talking about Argentina, where they're protesting, right? Because prices are increased by 20% overnight. There's what's it called? Turkey, Venezuela, everywhere that's seeing high inflation. This is once you get there, once you have they've had this high inflation for a very, very long time. Once you get there, there's no way out, right? It's a monetary roach motel. Once you check in, you ain't checking out. Alrighty. So yeah, that's what we see for the US dollar, which is possible. I don't know if it's possible in the short term, but in the midterm, anywhere between now and the next 5 years, it's highly, highly probable that that's going to happen. Or it could even happen, we could see the very beginnings of it in the next upcoming months, because I really think that they're setting up a trap for anybody who owns owns what's it called, stocks and or dollars in the bank, and they think that they're safe. That's big trap coming. Charlie Munger, everybody should avoid crypto as if it were an open sewer full of malicious organisms. Yes, you and Buffett are the malicious organisms. Just so we clear, right? You get to borrow money at zero or low or zero interest rates, which means you print money to destroy the rest of us. That's malicious. Just saying. Okay. Charlie Munger and Buffett, Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's right-hand man and longtime business partner, threw more insults at the cryptocurrency in an interview with the Australian Financial Review. Published Tuesday, Munger previously called Bitcoin rat poison and said last year that he hated the success of BTC. I hate that. Hate it. Don't understand it. And so I hate it. Yeah, when you make money off of the backs of other people without realizing that you're doing it, probably doesn't understand that. And if he does, that may he brought in hell. But I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Because, yeah, I don't think he does, because he would mention it somewhere along the line. And as far as I can tell, I don't remember reading anything from him where he mentions how the monetary system works. So, yeah. I don't think, I think that he's just making money from the current system and doesn't realize how corrupt and inept and destructive the rest of the people on the planet it is, right? So that's just the way it is, right? He's totally disconnected, right? Okay. I want one final story, right? Dogecoin is trading 78,000. Sorry. Dogecoin is trading 78,000 above its all-time lows amidst the crypto bloodbath. You know, I decided to take a look at that, and I'm like, mish, look at that. Well, if you take a look at the past of Dogecoin, you can see that we got pumps like this. I mean, this is not a very good one. Let's just try Bittrex, because they have more data. You can see for the longest while, right? There's pumps, but nothing. I mean, there's 200 pump. I remember that. I made a lot of money on that, Bitcoin on that, actually. And, you know, these pumps here, I made some money on this. But I would not have guessed that Dogecoin would do this. And definitely not this. Right? So for it to be right back above this pump here is still incredible. This initial pump is incredible. So yeah, Dogecoin is doing very well overall, even though it's come back from its all-time highs. And it's continuing to stay above its previous pump, which I thought was ridiculous. And I wanted to sell it all, and I did. And yet, yeah, there you go. I did end up buying back, realizing, no, you shouldn't do that. And then, boom, I was right on that. And so, wow, whoops, didn't, hopefully it showed you that, right? I was like, this is an incredible thing. I can't believe that Dogecoin is here, right? That it is actually come back and it's just above this area here. This is priced in Bitcoin, right? Which is like the 200, just above the 200 sat area. Because in the very beginning, right, for the longest while, you know, 20 sats, 19 sats was where you'd want to buy Dogecoin. Now that's priced in Bitcoin. That's, you know, 20 cents is like 100x. Right now we're at 300. So that's like, you know, 30x. That's amazing. Right? Not 30x. It's like, so that's, no, sorry about that. My math was off. It's 10x, sorry. So it's like 15x. So yeah, that's amazing how well priced in Bitcoin, Dogecoin is doing. Jesus, I've got Ethereum and on the brain. But anyways, so this is amazing how Dogecoin is doing, right, priced in Bitcoin, and I'm impressed. And I think it might stay around here for a while. It might bounce right here, and it might go a little bit lower, then bounce out of that, right, over the next little while before it sees its next pump in the next bull market. So look out for that. Awesome. Okay, well, thank you all for watching. I know I've gone on a little bit long here, so I really appreciate you guys. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and remember, Bitcoin's real, Bitcoin's here to stay, and you need to be a part of it. Cheers.